lovelies, it's Tanya Pluckrose. I'm back with another interview with, guess what? Another special lady in the house. Her name is Tania Doub, and she is going to support all the listeners today with the theme, The Art of Selling to a Woman, how to connect, engage, and sell to the female consumer. However, we've got a twist on this today. She is a very successful enterprise selling representative agent professional at Segment, and she is killing it in sales because she is treating her clients during their sales cycle, her sales cycle, the way she is approaching them during the prospecting, presenting, and negotiating. It's sealing deals. It's getting people to sign the dotted line a lot sooner than you could imagine. And she's working in a very male-dominated arena. And so I want to celebrate her today because she is climbing the ladder of success at Segment. And she's skyrocketing her sales. And her approach is so unique. It's so authentic. It's so from the heart that her potential clients, who happen to be men more than women, are loving her approach and signing the dotted line. And so today, the show is all about really letting any listeners out there who predominantly are male today, yes, I will say that, her approach is what male clients actually now would prefer to be sold to in this manner. So I'm going to pick her brains today about her special sauce. What is her unique strategy? How does she go about it? Because clearly the landscape is changing when it comes to selling, and this lady is cutting edge. She has somehow organically and unconsciously gathered that actually the way she is selling is what is needed in the marketplace. So listen up. Before I get cracking though with her interview, let me give her a royal introduction. First of all, she is one smart lady. First of all, she's been in 2 decades of experience in enterprise selling. She is currently now the director of, I believe, enterprise sales for Segment. She has worked for many trailblazing companies such as Power Reviews and eDialogue, who actually got bought out by, I believe it was eBay. Yeah, eBay. And what also I love about it is that this lady isn't just stopping working for Segment. She is on a mission to make a difference to women in sales in a very male-dominated arena, which is technology. She wants to make a difference, so she's got a book cooking right now on the stove that she's going to share with all of you shortly. So with that being said, hello, my lovely, and welcome. Thank you so much for your gorgeous company. You're one classy lady, may I just say. Look at you in your beautiful apartment. I mean, really, how could any of those male clients say no to an exquisite being like you? So I want to now explore your success at Segment. What is your special sauce? Tell me all about how you climb the ladder of success in sales in a male-dominated arena.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much for the opportunity for this conversation today. I'm thrilled to be here and thrilled to be a part of your series around authenticity, because I do truly believe that every successful dialogue and interaction really begins with authenticity. It's really about being as transparent as possible in your interactions with people, because at the end of the day, people buy from people that they value and they respect. And so I have been blessed with, 2 decades in this industry where I have had the opportunity to meet some of the great minds in technology sales across Fortune 100 companies, and really been at the forefront of helping problem solve and implement solutions that really will help our customers do better at their business. So the role I'm in today is I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary with Segment. And Segment is a really hot startup based out of San Francisco. I'm so proud to be on this team. We are a company that helps companies think about how to collect and unify customer data so that they can have better communications downstream. And so what really that means is we're helping companies and clients think about better and more relevant customer communication that they need so that they have better interactions with their customers. I have been remote for Segment out of my Boston home office for the past year. And my role at Segment is primarily to look for new opportunities where we can spread our message, where we can find really interesting problems that we get to solve, and meet with technology leaders who are really looking to overhaul their entire digital strategy. So that to me is really, really exciting and has given me some great exposure to a lot of really interesting people.
Wow. So, so this company, you've worked for a short period of time, but you've done very, very well. And there's something about the way you are selling a dry subject in that sense, and it's necessary, it's cutting edge, it is part and parcel of the way technology is evolving. Mm-hmm. So what is your approach like when a prospective client, you tap into a prospective client? Tell me a little bit about your strategy. I know you say you subconsciously just do it, but yeah, what is it?
Well, I think,
is it the relationship first? Is it just building the relationship first?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of that, right? And being in this space for such a long time, I think you start to really recognize patterns of things that have worked for you in the past. I would say relationships for me are very big, and it's a brave thing to admit out loud, I would say, because a lot of times you are conditioned and trained to think about sales in a capacity outside of relationships, right? So there's a lot of sales methodology that we'll talk about. It's not about relationships. It's about the challenger sale. It's not about relationships. It's about the right strategy. And I would say it is all of those things. But at the end of the day, it's people connecting with people, and people who have values and represent themselves in a way that showcase that they're interested in passing those values on to their clients. And I think that is really the secret sauce. Because to your point, I mean, there's a lot of companies out there selling similar type of products. I mean, we like to think, of course, what we're doing is more unique and more valuable, but in a lot of ways, they are very, very similar. And the thing that really stands out, and the thing that I've heard time and time again, is if it was an even playing field, you were able to instill a level of trust and confidence in us that we didn't get somewhere else. And that is the thing that feels really good about why we're selling and why I've been so successful in my career.
Wow. So how are you doing that? Clearly there's something. Is it, are you having face-to-face meetings with these people? Is it the follow-up, how you follow up? Like, is it something to do with your attentive listening? Something that you listen, you take their pain points or their objectives, and somehow you're able to think on your feet and come up with creative solutions. You really, what are those key things that are helping you create a more connected relationship with your customers, that where the trust is being built?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing, right? So listening is a big part of it, but I would say it's very interesting to me. In my research, I've found that women tend to talk a little bit more than men. Surprise, surprise. And our listening is close, but we listen about 46% of the time, and men listen 52% of the time. So it's very, very close. But I do think it has a lot to do with listening. I do think it has a lot to do with really putting yourself on the line for the customer. In a lot of my interactions, there is this feeling that they get from me, which is I am believing in the product that I'm selling. That's the number one piece, is you absolutely have to have a level of endorsement in what you're doing. And frankly, that's a little bit of, I wouldn't take a job for a company doing something that I didn't personally and ethically believe in. So I have to believe that the organization will rise to service the client with all of the things that I'm promising them. And so to have that level of trust in my organization is really, really important, because that authenticity comes through with my customers when I'm talking to them. They understand and they know that if anything were to go wrong, that they can call me and that I will not disappear. I will take accountability, and I will get the rest of the organization to really come to the table and perform on behalf of my customers. And I think that's the sort of advocacy that they really appreciate, because at the end of the day, they like to know that there is somebody there that they can call and talk to, who understands and can problem solve for them.
Right. So what I'm already hearing, you've been there for a year, so you could say you still are fresh as a daisy. But what I find is often we come into an organization and we are fresh as daisies, but then we get caught up in the culture, and we get caught up in the culture and their misery, right? And misery loves company. But clearly you are a true professional that is never allowed anyone's opinion of the company to ever in any way sabotage your success and sabotage your relationship with your clients. You are all about, no matter what, it's like a divine appointment. When a prospective client comes to me, it's like God has orchestrated it. And I am going to show up, not first of all for the guy in the sky, but also for myself, and then for the company. But it's these values you have that are really propelling you forward at an extremely rapid race for success and climbing the ladder of success, because of this foundation that you have, that I just think is really refreshing. And really, I think the broadcast we're having today, the interview we're having today, will be really a tonic for many out in your sphere of work who are selling just technology. It can be quite dry, but it's a real tonic you're providing now to so many that have lost their umph. They've lost their umph. So how do you maintain, what are you doing to maintain this mindset and this congruency with anything and everything you do?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question, and one that I spend a lot of time reflecting on, because I think it is so important to have that level of authenticity and transparency with your customers. One of the things that I am getting comfortable with, and I think it does take time, is the idea of really feeling confident in your approach. Because when you do feel confident in that approach, then you don't really let things shake you, right? So there will always inevitably be examples where somebody in the process is letting you down, whether it's a deliverable that somebody couldn't make, or it's a client who's incredibly frustrated and they let it out a certain way. I think it's never taking that personally, and always just making sure that you're giving people the outlets that they need, and they can trust you to express their authentic point of view and their opinion, and that they feel like they're being heard. And when you do that, I think, without letting that shake you, then it gives you that confidence that you need to continue marching ahead for them. I would say a lot of times too, what ends up happening is within organizations, there are challenges that even an organization sometimes is faced with, where they may not be ready to service a client in a specific way. But with that level of collaboration and positive energy, you get there. you absolutely get there. And I think I've seen that time and time again, because Segment happens to be my my fourth startup that I've worked in, where you all kind of come into the game not really knowing what you're doing and how this thing is going to progress, but eventually you find your way.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to do that is to really feel confident in your style and your approach, and always bring that same level of A game to the process, so that you always can find your way back home.
Oh, that's beautiful. But what sort of disciplines or rituals are you having on a daily basis? It clearly is a mindset thing that's happening here.
Yeah.
That would support many in your company, that perhaps they may need to go and look at, because you're not just rocking up for the day. I can tell already by the way you look, the way you present yourself, that you're doing a lot of rituals to ensure success.
I think that those rituals, they can't be understated at all, because I think that those rituals are the things that make you stand out. In fact, just earlier today, I was having a conversation with an extraordinary woman who runs a team. She's in her 20s, and she runs a team of 100 sales professionals. And I had asked her, I said, what are some of the things that you do to bring your A game to your team and to your day-to-day structure? And she said, I feel good about what I'm doing, and I feel good about myself. And I even at one point put out a challenge with my team, and I said, every day for 30 days, I want you all to wake up. I want you all to go do a workout, and I want you all to take a picture of yourself and post it to a site that we have, so that we can all continue to be motivated and bring this A game to our day.
Yeah.
She said, you can't imagine the productivity, the mood, and the energy that it affected across this team of 100 individuals that she manages. And it sort of validated my own process, right? I mean, I have this, to your point, a ritual that I go through every day, which includes bringing my best self to the table so that I can give my best self. And the reality of that for me is that, I start every day with the same routine, and I start every day with a 1-hour workout that makes me feel really good about myself, so that I can actually bring that to my job and the people that I interact with. And I'm a mom of 2, right? So I need that energy to bring to my family and my children as well. So I think having that discipline and knowing that you're bringing your A game to yourself allows you to have the ability to bring that A game to everybody that's around you as well.
And so with that strategy for success, starting early on in the morning, you have written a book, or in the process of writing a book, which I just love, Work It Girl. I love the name of it, and I love the fact that I would hope that would be included in your book as the special sauce to anyone in sales. But this book coming out is very, very much supporting women in your industry who are in the world of sales. Would you mind talking a little bit about this new project of yours, your little baby, your why moving forward?
Yeah, I would be thrilled to. Thank you. I am really excited about this project, and the reason that I think it's grown into this idea is because I look back at the last 20 years that I've had in enterprise sales, and I feel incredibly blessed to have had this time in this profession. And what I will say is there have been a lot of things that have been really challenging, but there have been a lot of things that have been incredibly, incredibly rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of times that women have the ability to navigate some of these very difficult situations on their own. And what is a really interesting thing that happens after 20 years of doing the same job is you start to get a little bit of confidence. It's unfortunate that it takes so long, but you do start to build a little bit of confidence around what you're doing. And there was a moment where I realized that I had a voice or an opinion about a certain thing. And rather than feel like I wasn't being heard, I actually realized that I wanted to step up because I could change the course of the direction here. And so with that, really is the idea of this book, which is really attracting and retaining women to modern technology sales, because I want to change the perception of it. Sales has very traditionally been a career that women don't really associate themselves with. They think of it as something that is a pushy type of a profession where you have to have questionable ethics, and perhaps I've read research that says even they associate the word sleazy with a salesman or saleswoman. And a lot of women actually say, well, I don't want to be 50 and be a saleswoman, or I don't want to be, progressing in my career in sales. And I have to scratch my head and think, why? Because it's been so wonderful to me. And it's such a reciprocal relationship that I have with the profession. So a lot of it, and a lot of what I'm trying to address in my book is the idea of being a myth buster, and really talking about changing this illusion of what a saleswoman is,
Yeah.
giving you the tools that you need to be really incredibly successful, to sell with authenticity, to think about your self-care, to think about all of the things that you should have in your toolkit so that you can go out there and bring that same level of energy and enthusiasm to your prospects so that you can problem solve with them and really help make a difference.
Wow, that is awesome. When is it coming out?
I
I
would
mean,
say, yeah, in the next year or so.
great,
And
great.
it's been really, really exciting because what it's going to include is it's going to include a toolkit that immediately is going to give women the opportunity to really go through this methodology and take things that they can use to arm themselves in their endeavors.
Yes.
And also it has some really great war stories of women who have been in the field for quite some time and have some really great stories to share with others as well.
I just love that your timing couldn't be more perfect, because as the landscape is changing and women are becoming more into their power because of the Me Too movement and other things, there's more equal employment opportunity now for women. How the landscape's changing. Your timing couldn't be more perfect to support so many. I would say, let's bring it back to just high school now, where so many young ladies are making a choice about what they're going to do for a degree. And here will be this book, this, I guess it would be like a little Bible that these young ladies will be able to read and go, she's got my back. She's got my back. She's on my side. I love technology. I want to do a degree in science or whatever. And this lady, she's got my back. I can reach out to her. Here is a template. Here is a toolbox. I love the name of it, a toolbox that can support me. So I can just see that you're going to go from, success to success with not only within segment, but I believe you're going to make a huge mark in the world, a huge mark with this mission inside of you to make a difference to women who predominantly it's always been a male orientated world, but now it's changing. And now you want to actually propel them to succeed even in a much quicker space of time. And there's a toolbox on the way called this book. And of course, your wisdom of experience. I can see you, I don't know, I just got this vision of you running your own coaching school, giving talks to thousands of young ladies, people could be at campus, could be at high schools, providing this sort of coaching for anyone, young ladies that enter the field and are part of an apprenticeship, being able to at least have you as a bloodline. I got a ringer. I just got a ringer.
I think it's important what you said about the bloodline, because I think a lot of it is women don't have the network. We just don't have the network. And in my research, what I'm finding more and more is women don't know that there are other women that have been through it, and they don't realize that there is a support system in place. One of the things that I heard from this wonderfully accomplished woman was, I'm just figuring this out on my own, she said. And as I think about getting married and having children, she said, I don't know a single mom, not a single mother in my entire network that is a mom and is a sales professional, as an example. And so the ability for us to now have a network of women that are available to one another so that we can empower one another and we can really think about how to help navigate the way, I think is really key and something that is incredibly important to me in this process.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, your timing couldn't be more perfect. Segment better hold on to you, boy. They better be paying you a fortune, honey, because God has big plans for you by the sounds of things. So they better be celebrating your success right now with what you're up to and with your approach in selling, but also with your big why, and take you on as a partner to support and encourage a company like this, who I do believe is cutting edge, but support this company in hiring more women to be in sales or any other part of the company, and you are their number one coach within this company and outside as well. I don't know, I just felt so excited for you. What I love is hearing how the landscape to selling is changing, and that even though this interview series is all about the art of selling to women, how to connect, engage, and sell, I love how there's so many angles to it. And that each person I've interviewed, their wisdom of experience and their why just oozes into these interview series and gives a range, gives an audience a range of insights to take what you like, leave the rest. Mm-hmm. But it's really supporting people to understand that the boys club is dead. It's not. We've got to change the way we are selling and the way because selling, get sales out of it and come along for the ride with your beautiful approach, with your beautiful, authentic, heart-centered approach. That's the winning ticket, I see.
And I don't think the boys mind. I mean, I think the boys are looking for a new way of selling, right? I mean, I remember 20 years ago when I would go and visit prospects and, take cookies for their birthday or get hugs in the lobby. And our CTO would joke, you're the only saleswoman I know who, gets hugs from her prospects, but it's genuine authenticity and genuine caring about somebody that I think comes through. And I think now we're in an environment where we are celebrated. And so as a result of that, I think the men are starting to see and recognize that it's okay to sell with authenticity, and it's okay to have a story to tell and lead with that, because that is the thing that is gaining a lot of traction. Yeah. And so I do believe that we're all sort of evolving together, and women are getting a chance to have the voice that they have always had. Yeah. But I do believe now that we're on this journey together.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I think is by us having this conversation today, we actually are giving permission, like, fellas, it's okay. Come along for the ride. Come onto our side of the court, and we promise you we're not going to eat you up. No, we're not going to eat you up. You get eaten up by your own colleagues, your own male counterparts. But over on this side, we want to embrace you. We want to love you up, and we want you to show another way of how to have it all, how you can have a very successful career, and you get to also live in your joy, live in being your beautiful self, as opposed to putting on the stern male front that you have been taught for so long, and it's ingrained in you. But we want to soften you a little. So come over to our side and watch your sales increase. Watch them increase with this new approach. So, my darling, I want to ask you one more question, because I could just go on and on. You're such a delight to talk to. I've been asking a lot of my speakers, what's in your heart? What's the impact? What's the legacy you want to leave before you take your last breath? Like, what's in it? I know right now it's the book, but is there anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, you go through your stages of thinking and knowing that you want certain things or you want to work towards certain things, and I think you get to a point in your life where you sort of you achieve those things and you feel really good about your accomplishments, and then I think you get to a place where you start to really practice gratitude. And that is the thing that is the most important thing for me is truly at this point in my life as a mom and as a sales professional, it's really thinking about what are the things that I can feel proud about, what are the things that I can feel good about, and what are some of the values that I can live with every day that I can pass on to my children. But also, what are some of the legacies that I want to leave behind at work too, right? Because there's a lot that I've been able to accomplish that I feel really good about. And so if I've had hardship, or if I've had struggles, or if I've had challenges, how can I make that just a little bit easier for the next person behind me? And I think that's really what it's all about. Is I'm always grateful for every opportunity, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And I have this reputation where a lot of people will say about me, how can you always be so positive about everything? And I think that truly is a gift that you need to practice. But is something that I hold really near and dear to my heart, is really always trying to be as positive as possible and grateful as possible for everything that I'm able to do in my life.
Wow, that's great. What a lovely way to end our interview. So Tanya, thank you, darling, for your beautiful company today, for your wonderful words of experience in selling. I can't wait for your book to come out. I will be your #1 fan. I can't wait to support you with reading it and leaving a testimonial for you. It would be my absolute honor and privilege. I want to wish you all the best with Segment. May they really see and celebrate the magnificence that you truly are, and honor you for the gifts that you have within, that you are sharing right now with not only the culture, but you are sharing with your present clients and prospective clients that are coming into your place. So with that being said, I want to say thank you for your company and good luck. I can't wait to see and hear more about you and your successes.
Thank you very, very much, Tanya. I appreciate you taking the time with me today.